have you ever been in a position, chosen ones, empaths, that you start to change yourself after a narcissist or something like that? You start towards them as well. That's by the way, I must say that, okay? Perhaps the relationships end and you start changing yourself. You start saying, oh, I'll be this way or I'll be that way. It's, many of you might have done that, right? And I want you to focus on that point, okay? What I will say is the change who you become, okay, will happen naturally through the process. It's going to happen. You're naturally going to become a better version of yourself than you was when you was with this narcissist. Now, let's all be honest, right? People who are further along in their journey will see it. Are you the same person? No, you advance in so many ways. All right. So what I want to try to focus in on is how the narcissistic abuse does actually help transform you to become your best version of yourself. All right. It's not their intention. By far, that's not their intention. All right. But this is a byproduct of narcissistic abuse, and few will grasp this opportunity, okay? I believe it's a natural process that you can awaken to, but few will actually so if you're hearing this information early on, just know that's ahead of you, okay? So when you're facing rejection or something like that, it's often a redirection, okay? It's often like the universe or God saying to you, redirect this way, go that way, you know what I mean? But you become your best version that the narcissist would literally die to be that person. And I mean that in a figurative sense, right? I don't mean that literally, right? But they would literally, the person who you become, and the point is, it's like a double-edged sword for them, because they know that person who you've gone on to become would no longer want their company around you by any means. That you'd never want their company around you. You wouldn't want that. So that's why I'll say to you, those of you that are in a place now, early days on, think about it, right? There's things that you're probably maybe chasing after the narcissist or pursuing them, saying, oh, I'll do this, or I'll change this about my lifestyle, or I'll do this, or I'll do that. That needs to be channeled within your own life, not anything to do with them, separate from them, okay? Has to be abrupt, not to do with them, all right? But you look within. This is why I always say chosen ones and empaths are far from perfect, right? And all of the chosen ones and empaths in these narcissistic relationships were far from perfect. But the point being, and this is what angers the narcissist and makes them furious, is they were used as a means to actually make you a better person for your future and for other people that are around you, okay? Yes, the narcissist that you hear me talk about in other videos, unless you see it, they crave your supply from before, they missed a version of you before, but that's because they had you under an illusion. They know they can't impose that illusion on you any longer. All right, it ain't gonna work because you've advanced and you ascend. All right, so those of you that are in the beginning days, just bear patience. I know that's a very cliche thing to say, but try to be as patient as possible. Don't channel your energy towards them. Channel your energy towards yourself. What is it that you're saying to yourself that you could have done better, or you could have done it? You can't change the past, right? And they was actually preventing your rise. They was preventing you developing. They was preventing you going to the next stage. They was really dragging you down. And that's what you got to focus on. They were also leading you down dark paths, right? They were leading you down dark paths. They might not seem like that to you, but they was, all right? The universe and God thinks that that lifestyle that you were heading towards him was not good for you. All right, that's something you've all got to embrace. So this is the reason why it ended. This is the reason that this has happened, okay? It's so you literally go on to become the best version of yourself. And this doesn't have to be to do with status or wealth or anything like that, but it can be, or it can be to do with other things, right? It can be to do with all sorts of things why you go on to become your best version. I'm talking about like the blessings that come with it there, okay? Like you might start a business, or you might start this, or you might start that, but all of this will be character development from within inside yourself as well, and you're going to be a better person. Like one thing that will happen is people will still irritate you and stuff, but you keep them at a distance, okay? You keep them at a distance. So you might be at work or whatever like that. You just keep people at a distance. You're in your own zone, okay? That's the first thing that happens after narcissistic abuse, is you feel isolated, right? And you start endeavoring with friends and company. And someone said this in the comment section today. You start endeavoring with friends and company, and you start doing that, and it's not a healthy lifestyle choice for you, okay? You need to go off to become your best version. And part of becoming your best version is pulling away from people. That's something that kind of might feel like abrupt in your life now that you're facing that around you. Or even if you have people around you, you feel alone, right? Around people, it could be that, right? So, you know, just embrace that this narcissist, what I mean by the narcissist would literally, they're envious of the version who you become. They would literally they would like to be that version of who you become. They would like to head in the direction of the lifestyle that your lifestyle is going in. All this is part of the picture. It's why they wanted to seize you while they had you and keep you under this illusion, all right? They wanted to keep you in this illusionary state because they didn't want you to go on and advance and ascend. That was part of their agenda as well. They always knew your potential, okay? But I've made two very important videos the last two videos. They're very important. I don't know if you're going to check them out, but they're very important. And it tells you to look within, okay? A lot of you, I'm going to just touch on it now, but a lot of you ended up with these narcissists. Think about it, right? This is very deep, and I've been touching on it in the two recent videos, but a lot of you went with these narcissists for your own selfish reasons. Do you understand what I mean by that? What I mean by that is, not that you're a selfish person or nothing like that, but it was what the narcissist could do for you, how they could brighten up your world, rather than joining with someone and building together for what putting in the effort together. It was more about taking what you could take from the individual. Okay, now that only lasts, please, I didn't clarify this in the last two videos, so I brought it up. It only lasts for a moment in time, a very small moment in time with the empath and chosen one, where they're participating with a friendship or romantic relationship for their own benefit. Then you become devoted, and then you become real and authentic, and you don't become authentic, but you become true to that person. And you ain't cheating, you're not doing nothing like that. You're very devoted to that person. You're not stealing from them. You're very devoted. But you initially, something that's happened in all relationships now, I believe, not all, but there's very few that you'll find. Majority of relationships, people are going into these for their own agendas, right? And that's why I'm saying, why I've brought this up again, is because you go off into your own version, so much so that you don't need nothing from no one, all right? You're not depending on no one for nothing, right? You become your own version. Obviously, your family might help you out, or this, you know what I mean? But that's different. If there's good people, I mean, you're not depending on someone and seeing the best in them when they're a deviant, and you're dependent upon them. You find yourself, and then obviously if you meet people, you can still give, you still help, you still assist, but you keep yourself at a distance, all right? And it doesn't need to be for a lifetime, but this is where the healing takes place, okay? This is where the healing takes place. Becoming your better version means you're gonna like life more than when you were the narcissist. You're gonna like your own company more, okay? When you become your best version and you're focused in your own life and you're doing everything like that, You literally love your own company more than any narcissist. So for those that are grieving in the narcissistic, grieving over the narcissist or miss the narcissist or feel left out about the narcissist or something like that, that's something you've got to wrap your head around. You're on a path to become your best version. Look within. Look within. You would handle that situation totally different now. After you've been educated, after what you've known from your own experience and from what you've learned online or books or whatever, okay, you would handle that situation differently now. If the narcissist was in your life, you would handle it differently now. Okay, they may not have pulled you into reactive abuse. They may not have been able to do this stuff, right? They may not have been able to make you jealous or whatever they were trying to do. They wouldn't be able to get underneath your skin is what I'm trying to get at, okay? So that's a challenge for a narcissist. So obviously when you go in your own way, that becomes part of their desire to want to fucking piss you off again and aggravate you and annoy you and frustrate you and do all that, you know? And plus, they're envious of the person you are. They know a lot of you leave an impressionable effect on people, whether it's positive or negative, but you leave an impression on people. You may be very introverted, you may be very quiet, you may be like that, but you still leave an impression on people through the impact of who you are, a very, very deep underlying impression on people. And you can often see this. And I believe this is the very thing that you can gauge it, because people see that within you and they realize they can take a lot from you, okay? So it's like the old saying, you give them an inch, they take a mile. This is what's happening. So that's why if you start to heal, you don't dive deep for your own conveniences and what this person can do for your life, and you just have your life where you're going, and someone wants to come along for the journey of where you're going in your life, and you're willing to be self-sacrificial and let that person in, even if they're less awakened or whatever like that, you're ready to let that person in for a pure place, right? Not for what this person can do for you, okay? One of the main things you've got to master is you're not missing out on anything. You're not missing out on anything without the narcissist or without a toxic relationship. A lot of these relationships you see around you, friendships, family members, these families, these romantic relationships, whatever, they're superficial bullshit, all right? It's superficial bullshit. There's no authentic connection beneath the veil. And really, it's about authentic connections, real connections. Not for what someone can do for you, not for convenience, not for all of that, you know? And when you base your relationship kind of dynamics off that principle, you'll realize there's very few that you actually have, okay? You realize there's very few real people in your family, in your friends, in whatever. You realize there's very few people that actually have these qualities, if there's even any, right? If there's even any. So honestly, you're gonna go off to be your best version. The narcissist is gonna be very pissed off with you. They keep tabs on you. I know many of you don't think they do, but they have to see where you go because they want to see you in hurt. That's part of their reason why they go through with discards, ghosts, and abandonments, because they want to see you in hurt and suffering. When they see you go off and you become your best version, then they fucking want to drag you back. They have an awareness that you would reject them, that you wouldn't let them back in. They have that awareness, right? So this is an important video. And the other two videos that I've done, the last two, maybe I'll put it in the end cards at the end of the video so you can check it out. But they're important videos. I'd like you to check them out if you have time. So anyway, thank you so much for listening today. If you'd like to book a one-to-one session myself, you can find the link in the description box below. And please check out Zion Music and Zion Spiritual. I'll be back with another video soon. Peace.